Okay, so what we're working on now is the base. Obviously, you see I've got 2 wheels already mounted and got 2 more left to go, but I thought I'd talk to you through just a little bit about what's going on here. Because we got to add some wheelage. We got to add some mobility to this cabinete. What you had here was 4 posts. These are probably just feet that were adjustable. You had them in all 4 corners. This one was blown out, and so was this one. So what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and use these holes as kind of a way to kind of place these. And I'm going to use this hole right here and this hole in the flange. And this is going to help me kind of locate all 4 wheels and hopefully keep about the same stability you could expect with like the adjustable feet. So that's what I'm going to do. I actually took out the threaded insert, the T-nut that was in there because it was a larger size. You can see like this. And I'm going to go with some 5/16 T-nuts. And what is a T-nut? Well, the T-nut is simply a nut that stays in place so you don't have to put a wrench on it. You're going to drill a hole. You're not going to do anything. You're going to watch the video. I'm going to drill a hole. Once I line this up, make my marks with my Sharpie, I'm going to drill 4 holes all the way through the cabinet. And then on the inside of the cabinet, I'm going to take this T-nut, put it in the hole, and then tap it. And these little spikes, these little tips here, bite into the wood. And then when I tighten this thing up, I'm going to sandwich the wood with this bolt, go through the flange of the caster, tighten it up like that, and then it's just going to draw that in even tighter. And the beauty of that is you never have to worry about getting back inside the cabinet if you ever want to take these things out. So when this thing is totally assembled, and years from now when I got to replace these, all I would have to do is just kind of jack up the cabinet a little bit and then take a ratchet, take these bolts out, pop a new one in, and I'm done. So it's the way that it should have been done, I think, from the factory. These are the same wheels I have on all my Sega cabinets. These are pretty much exact replicas of those wheels. All 4 of them swivel. They're 1.5 inches instead of like 3 inches, so it's not that it's not super spaced real high. And the cabinet does sit a little bit low for me when it's just on the ground. So this spacing should be perfect. All right, let's get it done. Get down on the floor because I love it so much. So yeah, so this is that's the T-nut that was probably 3/8, right? Because the ones I'm using are 5/16. And then I don't know why they did this. I guess it doesn't really matter because you're not bolting something. You're just running a threaded rod in this. But they put the T-nut on the outside. Well, I guess it's fine. You're not really trying to bolt something. You know, you're not trying to sandwich the plywood with two nuts, right? So I guess it didn't really matter. But I think you can obviously see the weak point is that, you know, you just have this one T-nut really supporting the whole weight of the cabinet. Well, I guess 4 total, 1 in each corner. So we are going to completely get rid of this bad boy, like so. So you just pry it out, which is just like the ones I'm using, except for it's just a little bit larger. And that hole is going to be plenty big. We'll start with 1 T-nut on the inside. We'll bolt that down. And then once that's locked down, then I'll just mark all my other 3 holes, right? Simple, right? Of course it is. So with the cabinet on its new set of casters, now it was time for me to turn my attention to that control panel that had some rust on the top and the bottom. Now the stuff on top is easy enough to get to, but the stuff on the bottom, not so much. So I thought the best thing to do would be to let the whole thing soak in some CLR overnight. That would break up the light stuff and allow me to focus on the heavier stuff. All right, so got the paint dry. Now we're figuring out hardware. So I got some of these number 6 by 32 thread count, and they fit in the memory card holder just fine. I had to run this through. I thought I was going to have to get a tap and run it through to clean up the threads, but I didn't, so they weren't that bad. The reason I was concerned about it is because they had these little bitty guys sticking all the way through. Whoever like, this is not stock. This is not stock configuration. But they had these little bitty screws, and they just went all the way through. They didn't even thread into the hole, I guess, because they couldn't figure out what size. And they had these little bitty nuts on the backside, right? So that's not what. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So we're getting rid of that. So those are out of the way, pushed out of the way, done. So yeah, so we got the right bolts for that. These 4 bolts that hold the whole thing to the cabinet are 1/4 20. So I got that figured out. We're not going back with this zinc coated stuff. We're gonna get stainless. I got stainless flat washers, but I don't have stainless, and I have stainless lock nuts, but I don't have stainless regular nuts. Because sometimes regular nuts is all you need to get the job. So I got to do that, and then I think it's these nuts here. I got to figure out. These hold the joysticks on. Okay, so I got to take I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is. That might be 8. Let's see. That might be 8:30 seconds. If that's the case, I have those. No, see, it's not 6:30 seconds. It might be 8:30 seconds. So I got those screws figured out. I got these nuts figured out. I've got these screws figured out. They're the same. They're just 3:30 seconds. But I couldn't find the ones that are short enough to go into these standoffs, so I may have to I got to clean these threads up a little bit. And then I may have to actually take these and cut these down, because they're 1/2 inch long, but they're still longer than the stock ones I pulled out. That could be an issue, could be a problem. I may have to clean up those threads too, because there's paint in there. So yeah, so this is all part of the problem. Once I get this figured out, once I get all my hardware straight, then we'll take this inside. And I got new buttons. One of the reasons I love the community, because I was like, the normal places didn't have them. They didn't have the IL, all the right buttons and the right colors. They didn't have the sticks. And a couple people reached out and they're like, hey, tmolding.com has more than just T-molding. They have IL stuff, which is cool. And I didn't realize it because I order from tmolding.com all the time on eBay when I'm getting T-molded. I didn't realize they had other stuff. So last thing is, I don't know. So you got these carriage bolts, right? And they fit in here and they hold down the control panel overlay. You got 6 of them, right? I was missing one, but no big deal. I don't know what size this is. This is probably like a 1024 or something, but when you put it, you can see the square. See, the square is supposed to fill up, the square on the carriage bolt, right, should fill up the square in the hole, stamped in the hole, and it's not. It's not at all. Not even close. So I think it might actually be 1/4 20, which means I got to get new ones, which means that I either got to do a couple things. I got to take this whole control panel into Ace Hardware and freaking see what'll fit. Because see, with these standoffs, I can just take the nut in with me, just match it up. But with these, is like I gotta see what fills up. It's got to be 1/4 20. I may, I might just take this into Ace Hardware. I just might do it. Wouldn't be the first time I've taken something in to see if it works. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Now that I got my indentured servitude is done, the mowing, my wife has allowed me to come back to doing my hobby, the thing that I love. So, but I showed her, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's right. She's not here. She went shopping, so I can talk big. I may have to cut this part of the video out. Who am I kidding? She doesn't watch my videos. Moving on. My worst fears have been realized. Well, maybe not my worst fears, but yeah, these screws are going to be too long. This is going to be way too long. They're sticking out like a good 1/4 inch. Even though I know that I'm going to have the thickness of the boards. It's going to take up some of this, maybe like right there, but I need to go ahead and take this down. So I went ahead and just marked it with a Sharpie. You got about a 1/4 inch. I'm going to take these out and take them each individually, all 4, one at a time. Go over to the vise, and then grind down just enough to where it's still not gonna, you gotta be careful, you don't want to destroy the threads here, and then they won't thread back into here. So I'm probably gonna take a flapper wheel and just take that down, and it shouldn't take but just a little bit, and we should be back in business. I'm not gonna do that. Nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to see, damn it. Okay, so while we can't mount the digital credit boards yet because we gotta get the right length screw, those have been ordered on Amazon, a couple days, get those done. What we can do is go ahead and mount the memory card board. And speaking of the memory card board, here she is, cleaned up in all of her glory. Looking great, looking beautiful. Some time with the brush and some isopropyl alcohol, and this thing is looking great. Of course, original SNK part number. Let's go ahead and install it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and throw the controls in. I got the overlay. I might as well go ahead and just put all that on. We'll start with the sticks. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and pull the black handles because this is of course this is the right joystick to go with, not red. You want to go with black. All the images, all the pictures of these things originally came with black sticks, so you got to get the right amount of red and black. The combinations have got to be just right. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the sticks out. I went ahead and went with lock nuts on these bad boys, just to eliminate having to have multiple fasteners. You know, if you go with a lock nut, you don't have to worry about a washer and then a lock washer and all that. You can just tighten them up. And you want to make sure, remember these studs are welded to the plate, so you don't want to crank on it too hard to get through the plastic nylock. Just go nice and easy. Don't lose your mind. Don't destroy, don't wreck the damn thing. Just take your time. And if it's fighting you at all, or maybe you don't want to go with a lock nut because you're worried about that, you know, then just go with a regular nut. Just make sure you have like some kind of a keeper, retainer, a split lock washer, something. And of course, always, if you're going to go with stainless, throw a little bit of anti-seize on the threads. And before I did this, I took the stock nuts that were on here, zinc plated, and I ran them all the way down after I painted it, just to make sure that I got all the paint off, so that this would be as smooth as possible. That's what you want, to be nice and smooth. You don't want anything to fight you. If anything's fighting you, don't force it. Just clean up the threads, put a little oil on it. You can use a little 3-in-1 oil if you don't have anti-seize. Just something, put something on the threads to make that easy, to make that nice and smooth. And don't use a tool here. I mean, there's no need to. And the speed could also, you know, mess up it could cause these stainless threads on the nuts to gall. And it could also trash. I mean, because listen, this is welded to the control panel, these studs. So if you mess this up, there's no easy fix for it. You're going to have to try to cut new threads on those studs, or just, you know, maybe just say, well, I'm just not going to have that. But I mean, come on, you've got to have all four in the corners for maximum strength. You know, just what you got to have. So take your time. That's the main thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Just take your time. Relax. Just take your time. There's no rush. There's no need to freak out and lose your mind. Just take your time. Fuss over it, because, you know, theoretically, if you're working on these cabinets, you only have to do this like once in your lifetime. You know, a rebuild of this magnitude. You know, it's just going to be once. You know, and then I'm telling you, trust me, in the future, if 5 or 10 years down the road you need to change out these joysticks because you don't like them or there's something better, you're going to thank me. You're going to thank yourself for putting a little bit of anti-seize on these threads, because it's going to make getting all these fasteners off a lot easier. And then if you go stainless, they're not going to be rusted either. So, ounce of prevention with a pound of cure. All right, keep going. Okay, so we don't have the carriage bolts. They're going to come in on Monday. Today is Saturday for reference. We got the shorter bolts coming for the credit LCD boards also on Monday, so we can't finish everything 100%. But what we can do, we got the IL joystick bases are in place. That's good. We can go ahead and install, because I have the buttons, we can install the beautiful, the gorgeous, the lovely control panel overlay from Quarter Arcade. This thing is pretty top notch. It's not cheap, but like anything in life, you get what you pay for. Oh, this thing is sexy. Look at that. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Quarter Arcade killed it. This could be my favorite cabinet. Sweet. Damn. That was good. Okay, I think this is probably gonna be the final day on the control panel with everything in place. The boards, the stock S&K boards, all nice and clean. Brand new stainless steel hardware, securing everything in place. Yes, I did have to order these bolts twice. It's fine. These actually turned out to be a little better. They have a truss head, so it's a bigger head. Keeps that nice and secure. Now the final piece of the puzzle, I'm turning this around, are the M5 expression paint. The M5 carriage bolts. These are stainless steel. They came coated in black. I went ahead and sprayed the top with the same satin black so that everything will match. Man, I absolutely love the way this thing turned out. It looks great, and I can't wait to see it on the rest of the cabinet. Of course, before I do that, I have to finish the rest of the cabinet. We got some stuff to do. We got some paint, some T-molding, and all that. That's going to have to wait for another video. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. You have a blessed day, and I'll see all of you next time. You look great. You still got some work to do, buddy. We still got some things we got to take care of.